Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Tuesday, the 5th day of September, 2023, Tuesday of the 22nd week of the year, the 22nd week in Ordinary Time, the day after Labor Day, the day after the final of our summer holidays. So back here at the St. Francis School, there's our third graders getting ready to go into art right behind me over there. We've just completed with morning prayer. It's going to be in the triple digits, at least the feel-like temperature is going to be in the triple digits. So summer has not ended, of course, in Carolina. It's going to hang on for just a long time. So just trying to deal with today, keeping out of the heat and the humidity. Wanting to show you that our pomegranate trees are already beginning to produce their fruit. As they do every year, it's a wonderful regular occurrence here in the courtyard of the Franciscan School that we have real pomegranates, and some of the teachers do harvest them. Another one of the little benefits of being a part of the Franciscan School. In today's readings, Thessalonians again continues. We chop up the reading a little bit today because the people put together the lectionary, trying to make the point again of being vigilant. There's a lot of vigilance that happens, or the cult of vigilance that happens in the letter to the Thessalonians, because there is at the one time a sense of the imminent return of Christ and the fulfillment of all that God has planned. But then there's also the recognition, as they go into the second letter to the Thessalonians, I believe, where Paul says, well, it's not going to happen right away, so continue to do the work that you have to do and just don't sit around waiting for it to happen. But the whole idea of this return of Christ, that Christ will come back again, something again that we don't really think a lot about, or if we do, it's often in terms again of fear and trepidation, and the sense in which it's something to be terrified of, it's something to be afraid of. Paul tells the Thessalonians, do not be afraid of this, do not fear it as everybody else might fear the fulfillment of God's plans, but you are there to welcome it. You're there to make it sure that it's a part of what has been promised to you, so that your lives can be all the more enriched by what it is that God has planned for you. And there's our fifth grade going off someplace. Have the fifth grade behind us today as they continue to walk. One of the great things about this part of the Thessalonians letter is remembering again where Paul helps the Thessalonians remember, for whom they have been created, and it is God. It is God to help us recognize the more in our lives, and the fact that what we experience in this world of its pains and anxieties are never the final word, and never the final say, for us, in being the glory and the wonder of God's creation here in this world in which we live. In the Gospel today, Luke, again, we moved to Luke. And one of the first things, again, that Jesus does after he says that the prophecy of Isaiah has been fulfilled in their presence, and again, they get angry at him, is basically to cast out a demon. There aren't as many demons in Luke as there are in Mark. Luke isn't really, concerned too much, with them, but they are present. And here's one that Jesus casts out. And again, everyone is just amazed, and again, it's the sense of amazement. Is it calling any more to their lives, and understanding a different presence in their lives? It doesn't seem so. It's just amazement, and again, who is this that that even the demons or whatever it is obey his command and things like that? They should realize that again that there is something more to pay attention to, and yet it becomes a struggle in some ways, because they just get caught up with a special effect. They get caught up with what it is that Jesus does that is good and necessary, but it doesn't just end there. That's, I think, important for us, always to consider, is that sometimes we look for the God of special effect. We look for the God who wants, who we want to just make magical things happen, and make everything better, as if we live in a kind of bubble protected from anything that is bad from us. We have to remember that, again, God walked among us in Jesus, and experienced both the highs and lows of human life. Jesus was not untouched by some of the disappointments and even perhaps the despair that we as human beings can experience, but it was never ever the last word for him. And helping himself to remember that, trusting in God to fulfill God's promises, is what made Jesus able to proclaim the newness and the wonder of what it is that God has in store for us, and what it is that God wants us, and how God wants us to live in this life. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.